Sometimes I think we don't get mustards because mustard is like a condiment, right, that goes on hot dogs, right? It goes well with pickles. We don't have this concept of mustard. Think of the mustard seed as the dandelion, right? It's pervasive, it's everywhere. Nobody plants it, legit, nobody wants it in their yard, right? And yet, did you know that dandelion was intentionally brought to this country? The dandelion is not a weed, it's technically an herb, and every single part of the dandelion plant is edible. And in fact, it has more micronutrients in it and antioxidants in it than blueberries. That it actually has this particular type of soluble fiber that is supposedly helpful in lowering your blood pressure and your cholesterol and helping with digestive issues. That you can roast it, cook it, boil it, put it in a salad. There's different particular parts. You should just look this up. Just Google dandelions and learn about them. They're actually pretty amazing. People even roast the roots and make coffee with them. Tea. And wine and tea, like it's all over the place. It's been a traditional medicinal in Europe and Asia for centuries, right? But here, we can't wait to get rid of the damn things. Which is just yet another example of the same, right? We know what it is. I realized this because my son asked me, why do we want to get rid of dandelions? Because he's 5, and what is a better plant for a 5-year-old than a dandelion? And I had to be like, well, because some people don't like them, and they're hard to control. And he's like, oh, things that are hard to control are bad. And I was like, oh, crap. Just like the kingdom of God, right? We got to control it and box it in and put it somewhere. And so I want to ask this question, and maybe you guys just talk about it amongst yourselves. What is something that is subversive to savor? What is something that, if in savoring it, it's countercultural, like the dandelion? Something that to enjoy it is a bit risky. People might have judgment or wouldn't understand. What's something that is subversive to savor?
Butter.
Butter. Oh shit! Butter's been making a revival lately. What else?
Pot smoke.
Ooh, pot smoke. Marijuana. I remember one time I was at a clergy gathering. This was before marijuana was legalized. And Mike Denton, the conference minister at the time, he said, you know, when this happens, we always bring wine to these clergy gatherings, and at some point somebody's going to say, who's bringing the 8th? And everyone's going to get real uncomfortable. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm waiting for that moment. Mike promised that it would happen.
Yep.
What else? Edibles, that's true. I mean, I think drugs in general, right? There's a discomfort about talking about drugs for a variety of reasons. We can talk about that later. Sex, absolutely. God, how much do we not talk? How much do we think about and advertise with and not talk about sex? Drag is subversive, right? Unfortunately. Although, I mean, it was always intended to be subversive, let's be real. Racers or dressers? In the world of Jesus, in the world of the New Testament, and in our world as well, to savor is subversive because there's so much get up and go. There's so much emphasis on productivity and power. And savoring does not produce power. And savoring is not productive. It's quite the opposite of both. It kind of invites us into a contentment in the moment, in the now. How can we appreciate that which is, instead of hustling and grinding for what could be or what's possible? I think we've become slaves to the concept of what's possible. Elizabeth Gilbert tells this story because she also too has this real strong feeling about this sense of like destiny on people's lives, that they're supposed to, everyone has a thing that they're supposed to accomplish, they're supposed to do, some gift they're supposed to give to the world, and so many people are so anxious trying to figure out what is the thing I was supposed to do. At the end of their life, they're asking themselves, did I do enough? Did I fulfill my purpose? Did I meet my potential? And so much we put that onto our kids. Oh, he could do some. Oh, she's got such potential and da-da-da. And what happens if they don't become a swimmer? What happens if they don't get great grades? What happens if they don't go to college? What happens if they just are exactly who they are in this moment instead of who we thought they could be? So, striving. Elizabeth Gilbert tells this story. She had a break between speaking engagements. She was walking down the street in LA, and she sees this guy way up on this ladder changing a marquee. No one's stabilizing the ladder. And she had a dad who used to get up on super tall ladders without any stability and do all kinds of stupid crap. So she goes there and she just holds the ladder for him. She doesn't say anything to him. She doesn't mention that she's there. She just holds the ladder for him for like 45 minutes. He's up there doing his stuff on the marquee, and she looks at her watch after 45 minutes, and she's got to go, so then she leaves. Never mentions that she was there, no acknowledgement whatsoever, just goes. And she tells the story, and she says, what if that guy was going to go on to surprisingly cure cancer? And my holding that ladder prevented him from dying, and therefore allowed him to do that. Have I fulfilled my life's purpose? Am I done? Do I just get to relax now? And I like that idea because it reminds us, like, well, what are we holding out for? Do we think we can know our purpose or our primary gift? She says no. She says our primary purpose, if anything, is to be settled enough and present enough that when God needs something from us, we're ready for it. That when God has something that needs to happen in this moment, we are available to God to participate in whatever it is. See, Jesus is not interested in us having these images of leaving the world, leaving our life in order to be successful, in order to be powerful, in order to be in the kingdom of God. He's constantly inviting us back into our life. These parables are awkward, and they would have been awkward to people in the first century because they would have been like, where's the vision of the power and the glory and the might and the majesty? Why the hell are you talking about bread? And yet, a primary concern for all of these people in their life every day is going to be bread. The primary concern in their life every day is going to be the harvest. And will it be plentiful? Will it be sustaining? Is those relationships? Is those direct connections? Is that immediate moment? Our salvation is not flashy change. It's not 1 minute we're one way and the next minute we're another way. Sometimes big things happen in our lives, right? And sometimes they change us, but you know what I've found? They change us really slowly over time. And even the event itself transforms over time. What does it mean to me now? Think of a transformational event that's happened to you in your life, a moment that seemed to change everything, and how your understanding of it has changed over time. Maybe it was an injury, maybe it was a death, maybe it was a promotion, maybe it was a transformation, maybe it was something horrible, or maybe it was something amazing. But it evolves with us. It keeps meeting us in the moment every day. It's not the same. It's like the blueberry or the grape. It's different now. It's different in this moment as I think about it now. Jesus wants us to have liberation in our life, not liberation from our life. This is where I think Empire Christianity was really trying to manipulate us, because if we could want liberation from our life, then our life could be shit. Our life could be terrible, and we could accept suffering because we're going to get liberation from our life. Yeah, when you're dead, we got that on sale. But liberation in your life, pleasure and delight and joy and peace and freedom, hope in my life, that's actually quite subversive. That's actually quite dangerous to the power, the structure. No, our liberation is supposed to be slow. We're supposed to savor this life in this moment where we are right now. We're supposed to remember that we're alive and that is absolutely amazing. I want you to do something for me. I want you to, I'm just going to read this for you real quick, so I think this is really powerful. You got a pen in front of you. You got a piece of paper. If you don't have a pen, there's a couple more on this table. What you do is just take a second and write down 10 small and insignificant things. Things you usually overlook that make you feel grateful. Even things in this room. Examples: buttons, rubber tires, warm water, a genuine smile, eyeglasses. I know you're not done yet, but we share out 2 things. What are 2 things you're grateful for right now? Seemingly small and insignificant things.
When I wake up in the morning, it's not small.
Wake up in the morning. It's not small. That's right. What else?
Lemons and clean towels.
Lemons and clean towels. What else?
Coffee and pillows.
Coffee, pillows. What else?
Flowers.
Flowers.
Being in my body.
Being in my body.
Fresh air.
Fresh air. Give me another one.
I saw a hummingbird walking here, and I stopped when I was late.
You saw a hummingbird when you're on your way here and you stopped to savor it. That's a great reason to be late for church. You're not late, you just arrived. That's all. What else?
Water.
Water. Water. 5 more. Come on.
Butter.
Butter.
More butter.
Yes, praise God. Fire. Love me some fire. Music.
Shade.
Shade.
Stretching.
Stretching. 2 more.
Yawning.
Hearing from friends. Yawning. How do you feel in your body just having taken a minute to acknowledge relatively simple and insignificant things that bring you gratitude?
Happy. Warm.
Happy, warm, more alert. They say in the Mindful Self-Compassion program that gratitude is a wisdom practice. That it's a wisdom practice because wisdom is the realization of the interconnectedness of all things. And that when we take on an attitude of gratitude, which is so cliche now these days, but I love it because it reminds us of all of the things that are so good, and most of them are not things we created. Almost all of the things that I take gratitude for are not things that I made happen. They're things that just are. And they put me into the web of interconnected reality, in the web of relationships. And they help me zoom out. There are plenty of significant scientific studies out there about the emotional, psychological, and physiological effects of gratitude, but you know it in your body right now. You know that your heart rate has dropped, you know that your breathing has deepened, you know that your perceptual field has expanded.
This conversation just recalled a very short line from a poem that I love so much. Yehuda Amichai, who was basically the poet laureate of Israel, and he's in Jerusalem looking out as the sun is setting on these beautiful golden rosy rocks, very involved in the peace process, so aware of everything happening in that place in the world. And he writes this poem about looking out at this beautiful light. I feel just fine in my pants. And I just love that, this amazing mind. I feel just fine in my pants. I recall that from time to time. It's
There you
just,
go.
absolutely.
That's right. See, it is our life, not our destiny or our possibilities, but our actual life that is beloved of God. It's our actual being right now that is in a state of grace and welcome and forgiveness. Not who we could be or who we might have been, not what could be accomplished, but us